Welcome back with a smiling face. Links to previous episodes are given in the video description, so don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. Wolves of Shadowed Fate. Episode 19. Chapter 103 to 107. Cheryl's POV. The 15-year mark at Black Moon. Blake wants to fight with me again, and I am done with it. We are over. He started to cheat on me with other she-wolves about 6 months ago, and then try to lie to me about it. He blames me for his cheating too. After he first did it, I knew who he had slept with because I was standing outside his office when they came out of it together. It was one of the pack sluts, Kara, and I was definitely not going to be following that act. I know as werewolves that it is harder for us to get normal illnesses, but with this slut, I was not going to bet that she didn't have something. When he started cheating, I knew that my time to leave was getting close. He is killing me with his words and actions. He is doing the same to Kevin too, and I just cannot deal with it anymore. 6 months of the nightly pain, making me want to kill myself, or him. His smirk as he thinks my physical pain, is him actually hurting me emotionally with his cheating. He feels like I still love him, and that when he beds another, it is my jealousy that is flaring up. But any affection and love that I had ever felt for him are long gone. Because of the constant cheating on me, and his continued accusations of my infidelity. It will never return. He murdered my love for him as surely as he stands in front of me now. He seemed shocked that I was standing there blocking them in the office when they came out. Her smug little smile at me, before she started her innocent act of lowering her eyes and pouting like she had been forced to sleep with him. Please, she has been chasing after him for years. Her showing fear that I was about to attack her, made him protective of her. He actually showed concern for her, and not me. He pulled her closer to his side to comfort her. Never even thinking of comforting me. He probably did it because she knew I was about to kill her for what she had done. His willingness to do that was right in my face. He showed me that he was willing to protect her, from me. I almost threw up on the spot. It was the last straw, and I knew the time was near. He was watching me like a hawk for the last few months since it happened. Scared that I was actually going to run away from him, even though I have never run away, or left the pack before. But he was right, I was, and I had spent a long time getting things lined up to do so. It is all about choices, and the fact that he came to me later that very night and wanted to sleep with me showed me just how delusional he actually was. I was not going to have it, and we fought. We physically fought that night. I would rather die than sleep with him at that point. His acting hurt, when he was the one to have made the choice to cheat on me, was the cherry on top. We had our worst fight ever that night as things quickly spun out of control. He wanted to do what he wanted to with others and actually expected me to spread my legs for him too. He was quite surprised when I refused to do it. I can remember his words to me just like they had happened yesterday. It meant nothing to me, Cheryl, you don't want to sleep with me much anymore. You know that I have a high S*X drive and we have always been compatible. I used protection with Kara. I do not care for her, it was just to get a little stress release for me, that was all. You will be the only she-wolf to bear my pups. Do not worry about your position, Blake had the nerve to say to me. So you accused me of cheating, with no proof. You stopped loving me because you thought I had done it to you, and then you go out and do it again. I have never cheated on you, and yet you continue to hurt me by implying that Kevin is not yours. We can take a DNA test if you want, but just because his coloring looks like mine, does not mean that he is not your pup. You are ridiculous to me right now, but hey, if you want to make Kara your Luna, just say the word. I will gracefully bow out, I yelled back at him. She was available, and she wanted to help me out. I am her alpha, and she respects me. What was I supposed to do? You have been cold to me for years. I have needs too, Cheryl. You did this all to yourself anyway by getting pregnant by another, so don't blame me for my actions, Blake said, trying to twist this around on me. Blake, if I had cheated on you, when did I do it? Don't you find it weird that you never felt the pain of my betrayal, yet I have shown up both times when you cheated on me? I am not a psychic, Blake. It is not a mystery, I felt it, I knew what you were doing, and despite my pain came to confront you on it. You have never felt it, or believe me you would have remembered it. Let me tell you, it is an indescribable pain when your mate does that to you, I told him. You did cheat on me though, Cheryl, because Kevin is not mine, Blake roared out at me, trying to defend his own bad actions. I hated that our children were all here and could hear this whole thing play out, but this argument is not a secret in our home anymore. I am not letting him run all over me anymore. No, that is a lie, you just believed Graham, instead of your own mate. He tore us apart, and you are going to have to live with the consequences of your own actions. Kevin is your son, he just happens to look like me, as does Casey. Are you going to stand there and tell me that she is not yours too? I said to him. I know what you did, I can feel that he is not mine, Cheryl. The other three are, and you hurt me so much by doing that to me. Why? I gave you everything. I loved you so much, and you broke my heart. Why was I never good enough for you? Blake said, and I can hear the pain in his voice. He honestly felt hurt, but he was tricked. He wouldn't have been if he had actually listened to, or respected me enough to talk to me about it, instead of letting Graham ruin our bond. You cheated on me, Blake, not the other way around. Kevin looks just like Forrest in the face, just with my hair and eye color. He has your strong jaw and your face shape. He is yours, and you are hurting me by refusing to admit it. He does not look like Brandon. You saw Brandon yourself when you went there for training. He looks like you and me. Yet you have been convinced by Graham that I did you wrong. You were the one to hurt me, and one day it is going to occur to you what happened here. I hope that the day you clue in, I am right there in the front row to get to see it. But saying sorry at that time, will not fix this for us, or between you and Kevin. You have broken my heart, over and over again, with your words and actions. You have hurt our son, to the point where he will probably never be able to forgive you either, and for what? To have access to Graham's money. Well, I wish you well with it because it has cost you the love of your mate. I no longer love you, and I am willing to reject you to keep from feeling this pain, over and over again I told him. I allowed him to hear my pain too. If my wolf, Akela, wasn't so strong I would have been completely broken by him and his actions by now. Blake was so angry with what I said to him that night, as it made him feel worse. I could feel his guilt coming off of him in waves because he could feel the amount of pain that I was in. I could tell he wanted to hit something, as he was incredibly frustrated at the whole situation. He still felt like he was right. He told me that night that he would never accept my rejection. He was wanting to hurt me at that point. We had already fought in our bedroom as he tried to tear my clothes off of me, to try to force himself on me. I was not going to allow it. I was going to fight him to the death that night if I needed to. I had decided when I saw who he had actually slept with, that I was not going to let him touch, or kiss me ever again. That day was a turning point for both of us. Since I refused to sleep with him, he started sleeping with whoever he wanted to. I said nothing to him about it. The whole pack was watching as he proceeded to let 5 different girls take care of him, all because I was done with him. He even had the gall to mention to me in the dining hall, quite loudly, that his cheating was all my fault for refusing to sleep with him anymore. I never said a word. I didn't argue with him or beg him to reconsider his actions. I also backed off of my Luna duties too. There were a few things that wouldn't be seen for a while, as I had measures set in place for me to stay 2 months ahead with ordering supplies. The basics that we always needed to operate the pack. I stopped and started pocketing some of the money, as at the time my actual endgame was not set in stone. I had an idea for our escape, and I was hoping that it was going to work. I knew for a fact that Blake would be coming for us, more specifically, for me. The fact that he believed me to be a cheater was infuriating and demeaning to me. The fact that he refused to accept our son, who was honestly the best child that we had, broke my heart. Kevin kept at it. He was stronger than Forrest now, and even Forrest couldn't take him down in sparring. They even put him sparring with the adults now, as he was 14.5, thinking that he would get hurt. He surprised them all. He even took Garrett on and beat him. The only guys that he had a hard time beating were Blake and Travis. He couldn't beat Travis because he never got taught in any special training classes for him to know how to get out of the holds. Blake wouldn't let him attend them, so Travis still had the upper hand with him, for now. They all knew that by the time Kevin turned 18, he would be the top warrior in the pack. This did not sit well with Forrest, as he was incredibly jealous of Kevin. So he got others to give him a hard time too. We are completely done here now, and my plan is outlined. It had been for years for us. That moment when he told me that he used to love me, broke my heart so badly, that even 5 years later I am still trying to piece it back together. I was just waiting for an opportunity to set my plan in motion. Both Kevin and I knew what we're both needing to do. He knows what is about to go down backward and forward, as I had planned it down to the nth degree. I will let nothing stop it, and I am going to be killing several birds with one really heavy stone here. The best part was that Graham had been watching me for years, waiting for me to break. I refused to do it. I will not. Certainly not for him, or for Blake, who willingly decided to blindly follow Graham and his money. I knew exactly where Blake's loyalties lay, and they hadn't been with me for the last 7 years. It was a matter of time before Blake cheated on me, and I had a letter written out for him and hidden right now. I will leave it under his pillow before I leave. I don't want it found quicker than we can get away. Blake tried every night to cuddle me. He is always sniffing my neck and trying to charm me into sleeping with him. I have become incredibly thin now, as I eat maybe 1 meal a day. I don't feel like eating, especially when Blake allows his flavor of the day to sit at our family table with us right there in the dining room. He allows them to sit right across from me, as he is trying to push me into reacting out of jealousy. It has been 6 months since he started this, and I have not yet reacted, other than pushing my food around my plate and refusing to eat. I keep Kevin by my side now. I make sure I am with him in training too, because Blake has become even more erratic these days. I cannot give him an opportunity to harm him. My plan completely depends on Kevin and me being able to fight. There is no other way to go about this. Me pulling away from him like I did when he started cheating on me has gotten to him. He is losing it, and others can see it now too. They are all concerned now, for him, and our pack. When Blake goes off the rails now in a fit of anger, I do not even try to calm him down. He needed the sluts so bad, let them do it. I will only protect myself, and Kevin. The whole pack is in an uproar now, almost begging me to bend, to accept him again, and telling me that I need to start sleeping with him again. This is none of their business. They can stop asking, especially about sleeping with him again. When everyone got their mates, his men got their own tables eventually, as we couldn't seat everyone at our main table anymore. So his men have their tables next to us. There are 3 tables on either side of us. They belong to Garrett, Brady, and Mark, and their families on one side of us. The other 3 are Travis, Wesley, and their families, with Graham and Cassandra, and my parents at the 3rd table next to us. Blake's other women sit there with Graham and my parents now, as one of them will rotate over to ours depending on his mood. I see Graham grinning at me as he purposely sits to where he can see my face. He enjoys my discomfort and pain. He won, and it kills me not to get up and go rip his scheming head off his body. He knows that I know what he did. 5 years ago I confronted him, and he admitted the whole thing to me. He even laughed about it. He just didn't know that I recorded the whole thing. I was originally planning on showing it to Blake, but after being offended by several ugly comments that Blake made about me and Kevin, I changed my mind. I gave up. I was not going to argue with someone who wanted to believe the very worst about me with no proof. He refused to believe a word out of my mouth but would believe a man who was trying to destroy our relationship. It didn't matter anyway, what Blake said to me. Graham enjoys watching the show, and the fact that Blake had the nerve to allow a slut at our family table, just shows how much that he has changed. I am positive that Graham told him to do it, and my IT mate did what he always does, and did what Graham suggested to him. But I know my time is very near. I have been taking Kevin out to practice driving on the highway between our pack and blood tracker. He is only 14 and a half, but since our children grow faster and are naturally bigger than human children, he looks 16. His birth certificate from the local health department put him a year older than he actually is. We buy them from one of our pack members whose work is in the health department. We still need all the legal documents necessary for us to be able to get things done, just like humans do. We all need a driver's license, bank accounts, and car insurance. We have to be able to fit into the world we live in, just like humans do. I have been taking him out for the last 4 months to practice for his driving test and quiz. They don't even bat an eye at our leaving the pack now. Blake had been the one to help Forrest 10 months ago with his, and we both knew that wasn't going to help Kevin, so I did. The first 2 months we had a carload each time we went out, and it was very unpleasant for me and Kevin with 4 warriors with us in the SUV. Not just that, but we had another SUV full of warriors trailing along right behind us in case we made a run for it. But we both played our part. We went out, I seriously taught him, we didn't go out very far, and we always drive on the side heading to blood tracker in case of any problems, as we like to stay in our area. I gave Kevin instructions, and he knew to drive slowly like he was scared. It was all part of my plan. Now he will be testing for his permit next week, the date was set, and they all knew about it. We no longer have a tail on us, and we usually only have 2 warriors with us anymore. I stopped carrying a purse, a year ago, as it was also part of my plan. I use a little backpack now, but it is still bigger than my regular purse. Plus, when you are about to do something big, you don't make a change all of a sudden. It makes people even more watchful. It is normal to see me carrying my little backpack around now. Baby steps will get us where we need to be. We are out of here tomorrow, and I leaned over towards Blake to speak to him as I act the same way that I always do. Kevin and I are doing another driving lesson tomorrow at 11. I was going to let him pass blood tracker this time, and have us eat lunch at the diner that is about 3 miles past it. Can you get a warrior or 2 for us tomorrow? I am also going to see if my mom and Cassandra want to come with us to have lunch. It is good practice for him to park. We might go to the mall next to it as well before we come back. We should be done, and back by 2 p.m. You know how much Cassandra likes to shop, I told him with a small smile on my face. It works best for me to give him a bone when I am asking for something. Kara is not happy at me leaning towards Blake, and she immediately grabs his hand in hers and sends me a challenging look. I toyed with the idea of grabbing his hand near mine, but I don't want to give him any false hope, plus that would be different and I am not taking any chances this close to us getting out of here. I will have the SUV out front and warriors to go with you to keep you safe, Blake told me. Right, they are with us to be safe. It won't matter after tomorrow anyway. I gave another small smile and headed over to my parents who are sitting across from Graham and Cassandra. I already knew how to phrase this. Cassandra cannot stand to be left out of something, so inviting just Mom, we'll have Cassandra invite herself along with us. Even better to do it this way, in my opinion, less obvious. I almost can't stop the smile on my face, but I kept a bored look as I said, Mom, Kevin is having another driving lesson tomorrow. Do you want to come with us? We are going to be eating at the little diner just past Blood Tracker. I wanted to also hit the boutique in the mall just past it after lunch. Of course honey, I would love to go. I bet they have their fall line in now, Mom said, and I can feel Cassandra's eyes on me as I kept looking at Mom. Do you have room for one more? Cassandra asked, and I couldn't stop my smile from crossing my face. I already knew that she would take the bait. Of course, Cassandra. The more the merrier, you know you are always welcome to come with us, I told her as I smiled warmly at her. I spoke to them for a few more minutes and then told them 11 in the morning in front of the pack house to meet before we leave. I came back to my seat, and Kara smiled and said, I would like to go too, Cheryl. Sorry, with 2 warriors, me, Kevin, my mom, and Cassandra, our vehicle is full. Maybe next time, I told her. I wanted to tell her completely different words, and most of them were 4-letter ones, but I am not wanting to fight with her right now. I have to hold my temper in. Kara pouts, and Blake told her gently, maybe next time, with a smile. Yes, maybe next time, I repeated his words, with a smile on my face. Yes, maybe next time, when freeze over. I would have honestly loved for her to come, but my plan is set in stone, and I am not making any changes to it. It is perfection, and it is going to be successful. Chapter 104 Cheryl's POV. Blake caused me a lot of pain before he came to bed. He visited her room, and they had a thorough session. If anyone would know that besides them, it would be me. He always goes immediately to the shower when he returns. I am at least thankful that he has the decency to wash their scent off of him before getting into our bed. He pulls me to him and nuzzles my neck, placing kisses from my jaw down to my mark, and nipping it. He must have lost his mind. He just got his DK wet, and he is coming to me for dessert. I think not. I can feel the little bit of dinner I managed to get down, trying to fight its way back up. I can't keep it down, and I had to run into the bathroom to completely throw up my dinner. I feel dirty now from his touch, and strip off to get in the shower again. I allow myself to cry over this situation, and just remind myself that it is almost over. I then go to brush my teeth again after rinsing my mouth repeatedly in the shower. I got dried off and headed into my closet to find another set of pajamas. I got back into bed, and he pulled me back into him again. I heard his low question, will we ever be okay again, Cheryl? Blake, you chose to go outside of our bond. Yes, we are chosen mates, but we marked each other. You have never felt that pain, you know that in your own heart. You would absolutely know if you had felt the ache in your heart. The one that lets you know that your mate was intentionally trying to hurt you. That is all that you have put me through for these last 6 months. But before that, you have called me a liar, almost daily, and been a horrible father to Kevin. You deliberately can't, or just plain refuse, to see his resemblance to Forrest. I cannot be happy and be with you knowing how little I meant to you for you to be able to treat me like this. How you swore you loved me when you claimed me. For you to just stop loving me, all because of a rumor by someone who was leading you to this very place. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean that I can't. It is going to tear your heart out one day when you finally realize what all you're allowed Graham to do to our bond. What his involvement has truly cost you. I am sorry, I could accept a lot of things, but the moment you started other she-wolves, we were done. You are getting plenty right now, so don't act as if you need me anymore. Sometimes the pain I feel is so bad, I can't even stand up. You have made your choice. You knew my bottom line, and you willingly crossed over it anyway. That is all on you. You are slowly killing me with your actions, but you seem to be okay with doing that to me. Please don't give me a hard time over this. I am sorry your little girlfriend isn't going to get to go shopping on the Pax dime again this time, but we both know that you will take her to the mall to reward her for betraying her Luna. I replied back to him, just as quietly as he had spoken to me. I was wrong, Cheryl, I messed up badly. If you will agree to come back and allow us to go back to where we were again, I will give them all up for you. I still love you, no matter what I do. It is your face that haunts me in the night. It hurts me to see you so hurt over this, but I was angry at your actions too. I just cannot accept that you cheated on me. You have hurt me just as badly, if not worse than I did to you. To have to see a child that you are still claiming is mine when I know in my heart that he isn't. It just isn't fair to me. Just let him go to live in his father's pack, and we can move on from this. I still want you. I need you, Cheryl. Our relationship as it stands today is breaking my heart, baby. I won't be able to survive without you. I miss how easy we were together. I want you back, and whatever I need to do to get that done, is what I will willingly do for you. I want it to be just us again, and no one else, Blake said to me, and then had the nerve to kiss my mark again after saying it. I have nothing else in my stomach to throw up, or I would be having a problem right now. I want to scream at him and tell him that he is 7 years too late for that. That when I begged him to think for himself, and not be led, I only wish that he had listened to me then. There is no coming back at all from where we are. The minute I found out that he had FD Kara, he was past the point of no return. He can act like he doesn't fully know that. He can act like he isn't completely aware that I told him when we got together that I can deal with anything, except cheating. He knows what my bottom line is and that he is well past it. He just wants to think that he still has a chance. Well, since he wants to hear things that are not ever going to happen, I will play his game with him. I will think about it, Blake. I guess we can sit together tomorrow, after I come back after the driving lesson, and we can discuss it then, I told him. Because I am absolutely done with discussing it now. He released the breath that he was holding and hugged me tighter. He really thinks that is going to happen. He is more delusional than I thought he was. I have to stop myself from shaking my head. No way will that happen, as I am never going to be coming back here again. He is still basically calling me a cheat in his little fake apology. Him telling me that he is wanting to send our own son away from here. How does he think that I will ever be okay with that? He has indeed lost his mind. He is wrong on both counts. He can kiss my *s if he thinks that will ever happen. Plus that no one else that he said, I could feel that it was deliberately aimed at me, for me to stop with other men, not him stopping with his women. I almost want to find a random man to prove to him that he has never been cheated on. He is basically wanting this because he knows that his wolf is about to be tearing his own pack apart if he doesn't make changes right now. If his wolf Kona does go nuts, I hope starts with Graham, as his first victim. No, I don't. I want Graham to have to suffer for what he has done. I want Graham to be blamed for whatever actions Blake is about to make. I want the whole pack to turn on him, and I want him to suffer like I have, for the last 7 years. That would be what was fair if the goddess will allow it. Cheryl, I appreciate you giving me another chance, and I just wanted to mention that Kara will be one of the 2 warriors with you tomorrow, Blake said in an even quieter voice. The guilt was back, and I knew exactly how she managed to get him to override me on it. I still felt the residual pain of it now. I immediately sat up and stared at him in disbelief. So that is what was happening tonight. Kara was convincing you with S*X to let her come with me. After I told her not tomorrow. She could have waited 2 more days for the next driving lesson, yet she convinced you that she has to come now. I cannot believe you, Blake, I told him, and I really cannot believe the nerve of him. This was the last slap on the face that I will allow. You know what, Blake? Sure, she can come tomorrow. That is fine. I can wait until I calm down from being angry for us to talk again, I told him, and with the ice in my voice, you would think a frost would be all over the room. I laid back down and made sure I was right on the edge of the bed. He took the hint. I would rather sleep on the couch, but he would just bring me back. He needs me near him to keep Kona happy. I was not able to sleep for hours to readjust my plan. I could tell that Blake felt bad for it, that he had agreed to it in the heat of S*X, and now that he had a clear head, he knew he messed up. But he knew what she was doing before he went up to her room. He wanted her to con him into it, by using her body. He hadn't messed my plan up, because my plan worked regardless of who the warriors were. He chose her to be the second warrior, and I am actually glad for how it ended up playing out for me. I think the goddess is finally smiling down on me. I was glad that my knee-jerk response to him was an accurate one. This is going to hurt him even more than it originally would have, and I smiled into the dark as I worked through my plan again. Me learning how to check, and recheck again, was actually something I learned a long time ago. From Reagan of all people, with the very tips her dad gave her. It is funny that I will be using his own information against him. Blake's even breathing let me know that he was asleep. I just kept running through my checklist of what I needed to get done before we leave. I was running on about 3 hours of sleep when I got up at 6 a.m. the next morning and went through my regular routine. I went to my office with my backpack and got it loaded up after I got done with my training. I had over $40,000 put aside, hidden in a floorboard under the bottom desk cabinet. I have to roll the bottom drawer out to even reach it. I was planning on asking Blake for $5,000 for us to go shopping with today. I know that he will give it to me, as he feels really bad about allowing Kara to get her way by going. I will play on that guilt, as I haven't committed to where I was actually going to land. It was down to 2 places, and I knew which one I had to go to. I will take the hit, to save my son. This is all for him. He deserves to go somewhere where he can truly thrive, and not be bullied or picked on. I gave a slight laugh as I realized just what the goddess had done. I just hope that she is with us today as we manage to break free from Black Moon. I went to Blake's office and knocked. I waited, as he was having a meeting with his ranked wolves. At least that was better than the alternative of one of the she-wolves that he usually has bent over the desk. I saw Kara coming this way and she knocked as well. The door stayed locked and she was embarrassed. I guess she really thought that she was just going to sashay right into his office after he didn't let me in. She really thinks that she has his ear, and I guess she has for the last couple of months. But I have been the Luna here for 15 years now, her slutty A*S has nothing on me. She was smart enough to stay back away from me while we waited. I might be too thin right now, but I can still kick her A*S. I made sure that both Kevin and I had a good breakfast too. We are going to have to keep our strength up, and we did the normal routine this morning. I didn't deviate from any of what we normally do. I had taken my backpack right back up to our room from my office and hidden it in a drawer in the back of my closet. I needed to be ready to go with this, and I was trying hard at keeping my calm. I was getting very anxious as we were leaving in an hour, and I was worried that something else was going to pop up on us now and ruin the whole thing. I hear the lock disengage on Blake's door, and his ranked wolves exited the office. They all nodded at me in respect, but then I watched as they also nodded in acknowledgement of her too. Another slap in the face that lets me know that my decision to get out of here was the right one. She runs into the office ahead of me and is already asking Blake for money to shop with, as she sits on the corner of his desk with her regular pouty face on. He sees me enter and the smile that he had on his face for her disappears quickly. I want to say something to remind him that just a few hours ago, he was willing to give them all up for me, and yet, he looked really cozy with her in here. "Good morning, Cheryl. What can I do for you?" Blake asked in a pleased tone at seeing me in here. Ever since I busted him and Kara in here that first time they were together 6 months ago, I had not returned to his office, for any reason. I was here for the same thing your special ex-friend here is, money to go shopping with. On a trip that I had specifically told her she wasn't welcome on, I said in a hard voice. I am reminding him of 2 things. He overrode me and allowed her to come, and that apparently her coming to get money from him was something she had clearly done several times before. She is not aware that their relationship is in any difficulty, probably because, until I agree to get back with him, he will not be dropping her. That makes me feel sick too, and I have to step back away from them both. They completely disgust me. Of course, baby, I want you to get something nice while you are out. You never leave, and you haven't been shopping in a while, Blake told me and got into the safe quickly to give me money. I am sure that he wanted me out of here quickly, as she probably has to earn her money, and I swear that if he does what I think he is going to, I am going to enjoy my day much more than I thought I was today. I closed my eyes so I wouldn't see her leaning into his body as he opened the safe like she was the Luna here. His allowing his men to respect her like that, made me furious with all of them. I was fooled by my love for him, they may have always been this way. I linked Kevin and told him to meet me in the dining room as soon as he could get there. I just want to get on the road right now. To hell with all of them. I just need to have some patience. Cheryl. I heard Blake call out to me, and I slowly opened my eyes. I see her sitting perched on the arm of his chair now like she owns the place. She is smiling at me like she is the one being benevolent to me and personally giving me the pack's money. I smiled back at her, and I watched her flinch. I hope my smile was scary to her, and she has no idea how her day is about to go. Yes, I said to him and turned my head in his direction. He has 2 stacks of bills sitting on the counter, the same height, and banded together with a strap. They are both a total of $4,000 in $20 bills. I already know without asking that 1 stack was for me and 1 stack was for her, just like how he had them put out on his desk. But I have the warrior, Kevin, my mother, and Cassandra on my end too, that I will need to take care of today. Her money will be just that, her money. But I am going to make him say it. I want to hear him say the words. That way, I will have the strength to do what I needed to do today. I needed to leave, and I didn't want to have any guilt in me about it. I stare right into his handsome face, his silky dark brown hair, and those dark brown eyes with the long lashes that always made me think of melted chocolate stared right back at me. Kara just looked at me, angry, like I couldn't take a hint to leave. I heard a knock on the door and turned to see Casey standing there. That was good. I wanted to kiss her goodbye, and Robert too. I don't kiss Forrest anymore. He has become a huge jerk where Kevin is concerned and became his biggest bully. What did you need, honey? Blake asked her dad. We are going to go into the city to shop. Can I have some money for us to spend, please? Casey asked him with a smile on her face. She is only 10, but she has him completely wrapped around her finger. She loves him as much as he loves her, that is why it was no surprise at her taking his side. I know that Forrest sent her in here because he never argues about giving her money, he just does it. She is no longer nice to me because she believes the crap her father spews. She and her brothers also ignore Kevin. It is clear that with each passing year, the pressure on us gets much worse. Sure, baby, who all is going, and are you taking any warriors with you? Blake asked as he bent down and got money from the safe again. Kevin hasn't been shopping for a while now, the same as me, and Blake comes back up with a strap for each of them to be able to spend $2,000 each. They also had $20 bills. The difference was that my children get to go do this each month. It had been a very long time since Kevin, or I had gotten anything new. My face is now completely red, with this new slap that I felt to my core, landing squarely on my other cheek now. The only people in this family that didn't rate, were me and Kevin. My work here is done. I gave him 3 pups that can lead this pack. They will, straight into the ground, after he steps down. It will not matter to me, as I won't be here anymore to be affected by it. Casey ran around the desk to grab the money and gave him a big kiss. She then nodded at Kara, and then said, "Bye, Mom," to me before she raced back out of the office. I guess I didn't need that hug after all. It seemed like the care for her was one-sided, and not in my favor. I see where I stand now, and this is yet another reason that I needed to get out of here. I focused my eyes back on Blake, and he smiled at me like he was expecting me to say something, and I will. I just want him to say what I need him to, first. I need this one final blow to know that all 15 years of my life here were a complete waste of my time and energy. Blake pushed one of the stacks to me and smiled again like he was the one doing me a favor. "Did you need anything else, Cheryl?" Blake asked me and looked up at me like he was hoping for me to beg him to take me back. I did need something else actually, a dependable mate, one who wouldn't cheat on me, or believe others before me, but I cannot say that right now. We will get into a big fight, and then he wouldn't allow me to leave. It won't matter soon, that was what I needed from him. To let me know that he never intended to give anything up, he just wanted to have me, along with them. I gave him one last look and tried to control my anger as I did. I cannot wait to get out of here and get my son to a place where he can be safe. "No, I don't need anything else from you, Blake," I said, and then gave Kara a scathing look as she was now sitting sprawled all the way across his lap. I shook my head and exited his office, hearing her laughter behind me as the door closed. Yes, I am really going to enjoy today. The days of Cheryl being pushed down are over now. Whatever chapters are to come, I will greet them head on and accept the punishment for my actions, and pray that the goddess forgives me. But whatever happens, I know for a fact, that my day will be a great deal better than Kara's is going to be. I walked away from his office with a smile on my face. I just need to go grab Kevin, get my backpack from my room, and get out of Black Moon. Chapter 105 Cheryl's POV. I barely made it to the dining room before the pain hit me. I couldn't stand anymore and had to grab the back of a chair to catch myself. I am wasting away here, and I have to get out of here now. Kevin ran up to me to check on me with concern in his familiar blue eyes that match mine. It is me and him from now on, and I noticed that he has a mark on him. He has a black eye that he didn't have before. What happened, Kevin? I asked him. I already am pretty sure that this is his brother's handiwork, but as bullied as he has been getting lately by other jealous kids, I just don't know. I am thankful that it is about to be over. It's okay, Mom, I am all right. It was Forrest. I beat him at sparring again, so he caught up with me with Beta Brady's son Drew, and Gamma Mark's son Dennis, to hold me so he could teach me a lesson. He got one too. He now knows that he needs more friends. He has a black eye to Mom, Kevin said, and I was so proud of him for not allowing them to take his spirit away from him. I felt a little stronger after a few minutes and went up to our floor with Kevin to grab my bag and put the rest of my money in it. I am actually okay with him giving money to Kara now. I am about to double my money before we bounce and get away from here. I slid the letter I wrote to Blake between his pillows. He will find it the next time he goes to bed. Well, I don't know about that. One of his little girlfriends might just find it first. But I am sure that he will be getting tonight off. I think he might be too overcome with grief to want to FK someone, but I am not 100% sure of that right now. We headed downstairs for the driving lesson and I see the warrior that is coming with us talking and flirting with Kara. He has a good shot with her, just as any of them do. I see her stiffen up and move away from him, and at first, I thought she did it because she saw me, but I was wrong. She bounced up to Blake on the stairs behind me to give him a kiss, and I pinned him with my eyes while she did. I know it was petty, but I wanted him to see that I knew he had completely lied to me. He was just trying to get me to comply with what he wanted and didn't give a damn about hurting me. I see my mom and Cassandra walk up with their mates. They hugged and kissed them before they climbed into the back row of the SUV to talk, while Kevin got his driving lesson. Kara kept kissing Blake and the memory of her right on top of the warrior that was with us came to mind. I cannot stop myself from saying, "Wow, you really care about your pack mates, Kara. You were almost just kissing that warrior too, and that was hot on the heels of you having S*X with your alpha. Maybe when you get back you can see how many of the ranked wolves you can make happy." She froze mid-kiss on Blake's face, and it was just as much an admission of guilt, as her saying the words. Blake looked at her, and then at the warrior who had already turned red. Apparently, he didn't realize that Kara was the alpha on the regular. "Cheryl, why would you embarrass Kara like that?" Blake asked me. "Why would she continue to embarrass her own self, Blake? She was the one rubbing her body on him like a cat in heat when we came out of the pack house just now. I didn't make her do it, and neither did he. Apparently, he is just as much a victim of her S*X drive as I am," I told Blake and maintained eye contact with him as I said it. My eyes flashed in anger at my knowing he had blatantly lied to me last night. He was never going to give Kara up, little did he know he already had with insisting that she come with us today. "It will be my pleasure to kill his number one girl, Cheryl," Blake said to me in a warning tone, and I nodded for Kevin to go ahead and get in the truck. The warrior quickly ran to get in behind him and I rolled my eyes at Blake before I opened my door to get in. Kara gave him another kiss and got in behind me. Blake held out his hand and stopped me from shutting my door in his face. "Hey, are we still going to talk tonight like you said?" Blake asked me quietly, putting his body in the doorframe to keep me from being able to shut it. "I see no reason to, as you clearly lied to me when you asked me that last night. I just cannot trust you, Blake, as you took right back up with her today, I told him, and I see him draw in a breath to argue with what I had just said. Yes, you did. I felt it. Please stop lying to me. I know you did, it doesn't matter if it was OX, or actually having SX. Blake, I feel it every time you do anything, with anyone, I told him, and I felt my eyes fill with tears. I am getting emotional at leaving him, and I am breaking down. I felt a hand reach on and grab a hold of my hand. Kevin is grounding me as he can tell that I am struggling. I am doing this all for him, and I smiled at him through the tears in my eyes. I am sorry, Cheryl, I didn't realize, Blake started to say, and I held my hand up and stopped him. You didn't realize because it has never been done to you. Once it has, you will always remember it. Look at me, you are literally killing me. I am way too thin and almost a walking skeleton because knowing what, and who, you are doing is truly making me sick. Let me get a break, and we can talk tonight. Because I do want to mention the double standard that you just showed me in the office. You gave me and her the same amount of money, but my money is for 5 people to be taken care of, and hers is just hers. I mean, I may not say anything, but you missed my birthday last month because you took her out shopping. How long has it been for me to get new clothes? Stop, please don't excuse it, I know. I already know everything and we are done with talking right now. We need to get on the road. We can talk when I come back, I told him and refused to look at him. I knew he could see my eyes full of tears, and there was no comeback for what I had said. I knew more than he thought I did. He was wrong all the way around, and there was no point in our conversation even continuing. Okay, Cheryl, I love you, Blake said, as he knows that he has royally FD up and it hasn't been 24 hours since he begged me to take him back last night. Please let me go, we need to leave, I replied to him, and thankfully his guilt kept him from realizing what I meant when I said that. I couldn't say goodbye, I wanted to, but I fought it off in the office, and I wasn't able to do it here either. He shut the door for me, and he waved to me. I saw it in my peripheral, but I kept my eyes focused on the driveway in front of me. I cannot look at him, as I will never see him again. Kevin drove slowly up the drive and followed the road out to the main road. I told Kevin to be extra cautious and he was. We had a plan and we knew every step of it. When we got to the point, Kevin said there is something wrong with the back tire and started pulling over to the shoulder of the road. I got out with him to check, and since both Kevin and I were out of the vehicle, both the Warrior and Kara had to get out too. They had to stay with us, but you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Kara was going to leave me and Kevin with the Warrior as she wanted to go shopping. That was probably what she was flirting with the Warrior about. Trying to con him into doing that while she spent her money. I got on my knees and waited for Kevin to get into position. I had a bent nail that I picked up from the ground last week at Black Moon. It was rusted and twisted and I knew it would be a great distraction. Originally I was going to have us fight them, and kill them. But all that would do would allow them to have time to mind link the others for help from our pack, and we have to get out of here. I can see my mom and Cassandra get out and bent down like they were going to be able to help diagnose what the problem was. I had passed the nail to Kevin and everyone was looking at it, and waiting for our tire to go flat. I saw Kara's eyes glaze over and I know that she is trying to link Blake to let him know we encountered a problem. We need to move now. I shot her quickly, and then the Warrior before I pushed their bodies with my booted foot down the slope, and into the ditch. We need to go, Kevin, I told him, and he ran to the front of the SUV with a screwdriver, while I finished up. I am sorry, Cassandra, but since Graham is the very reason that Kevin and I have had to go through abuse for the last 7 years. He will have to have punishment for it, as he did it with both intent and malice. Killing you is not ever what I wanted to do, but it is the only way that I can make sure that he suffers for his actions. Killing him would have been too quick, and he needs to suffer like he made us suffer. I have suffered more in the last 6 months as my mate slept with other women than I can bear. The fact that Graham had encouraged him to do that to me as well has pushed me past my breaking point. I will try to make this painless for you. I didn't give her a chance to respond before I shot her too, right in her forehead, just like the other two. I wasn't trying to make anyone suffer. She didn't, she was dead before she hit the ground. I couldn't let her speak, the guilt of me having to do that was enough for me. I am desperate, and we need to move now. They will be coming. I pushed her body down the slope too, and I could hear the faint sound of a wolf crying out several miles away. I knew that Graham knew his mate was gone now. An eye for an eye. He took my mate away, and I took his. I bet he will learn this time. He needed this lesson to know to leave people alone. I looked at my mom and said, "You have 1 minute to decide if you want to stay here, or go with us." I walked around the SUV to the driver's door and got in. I will not be waiting around for her to make up her mind about this. Get in, if you are coming, Mom, or stay right here for them to find you if you want to go back to Dad. But I am sure that things will be much, much worse now that I am not there to keep him calm. But Kevin and I are done with Black Moon. I love you, Mom, I told her and shut my door. She stood there on the side of the road looking stunned. Mom always did what she was told. She didn't come up with any ideas. She was beautiful, but not the smartest person. She followed what my dad told her to, and he loved her for it. I started the SUV and looked at Kevin. He was stunned at what I had done too. I have to admit that it was much harder than I thought it would be. Talking about it, and doing it, were two very different things. I was glad that Kara had tucked her money into the pouch on the back of the passenger seat. I didn't want to have to go down into the ditch to get it. Kevin nodded to me and I took off. I knew Mom was in shock as she watched me drive through the median to the other side of the road and then start heading back toward Black Moon. Each SUV had a tracker on it, just in case one was stolen, just like I just stole this one. Kevin took the tracker off with the screwdriver I gave him, and then he pried the front plate off the front of the vehicle too. It was highly reflective and had the pack symbol on the center of it. You could see it coming from a distance. I handed my phone to Kevin and said, "Send them," and I drove the speed limit back the way we came. We had passed them and were just going over the last hill about 2 miles away. I glanced up to see 4 SUVs flying out of our packland heading to where the tracker was currently laying on the side of the road. Kevin had thrown my phone out the window after he sent all of the messages out to Blake and the video that I wanted him to send. It was ironic that my phone had landed dead across the street from the entrance to our pack. I know that he will be tracking it next when he gets to the tracker, and we are not there. I almost wish that I could be a fly on the wall to watch him when he finds his precious little girlfriend is gone. I am sure it will hurt him to his core. I was glad the plan worked, but I felt horrible about taking 2 fairly innocent lives. That warrior didn't deserve it, but he would have fought us to the death to keep us from leaving, Kara too. Too bad Blake hadn't sent me out with 3 of his girlfriends. I wouldn't have minded taking out his whole squad of sluts. Plus think of all the extra money I could have had from taking their money too. We picked up speed now that we had gotten past the pack. They wouldn't have looked twice at us, as we didn't have the tracker, or the plate, on this SUV. Cassandra wasn't entirely innocent, but out of our group, she and Mom were the least guilty of us all. I bet if she knew where I was headed she would have come, but I couldn't tell her. Mom can't keep a secret, and Blake may go crazy enough to want to tee her over it, but I am sure he will know that there was no way that I would have let her know anything. I am in the wind, and as far as I am concerned, I will never return. An hour later when I got to the city I stopped and got a new cell phone. I got one for Kevin too, and he was really happy about it. All his brothers and his sister had one, he was the only one who didn't. I need to make a call that I never thought that I would have to, and I braced myself for it. I had memorized his number long ago, and I was hoping that it would still be the same number after 15 years. It rang 4 times, and just when I thought he was going to forward my call, he answered the phone. Hello. I heard through the phone, and I burst out crying. I missed him so much. Hello, are you okay? I heard and I tried to control my crying but I was ugly crying. Leander. I said to him, and I heard his gasp of surprise. He knew it was me from that one word. I was banished, but I needed his help. I needed him to be able to take care of my innocent son. Leander, can you get a meeting with Brandon and Raven, please? I need help, and I am willing to help you all in return. Call me back, at this number and tell them that I can tell them where everyone is. They won't have to search anymore. I will turn myself in, but I kind of need a favor in return, I told him, and I am still crying. I am here with all of them now, Cheryl. Hang on, don't hang up, give us a minute, Leander said, and I could tell that they were heading out of a crowded area and probably going up to an office. I was right, I heard the door shut, and everyone settling down before I heard Brandon's deep voice say, Cheryl, are you okay, which set me off into more crying. I am okay, thank you, Brandon, but I had to do something desperate to escape. I have a son, and he is in serious need of protection. He is innocent, and all I need is for you to allow Leander to raise him in Blackadder. I will turn myself into you, so the council can come and get me. I will accept my punishment for running. My only request is that Kevin be taken care of, please. I need your word that you will do that, and I can be there soon. I know that you are an honest person, Brandon. If you tell me you will do it, that is good enough for me. I can be there in less than an hour, I told them, and I know that they can all hear the tears in my voice. We will take you both in, if you are in danger, Cheryl, you need to just head here right now. I am surprised to hear Raven's clear voice coming through the phone. Thank you, Raven, I know that they are still looking for me right now. I can accept my fate, but I just need confirmation that my son will be taken care of. He cannot go back to his father, he will never survive it, I begged them on the phone. We will take you both, Cheryl. Call us when you get close and we will meet you at the gate. I will accept and take care of your son, just come on now, you will be safe here. I heard Brandon's voice, strong and calm, coming through the phone. He is sincere, and he has always been a man of his word. I let out the breath that I was holding, and took Kevin to a drive-thru to grab food before we headed to Blackadder. Mom, I don't want to be without you. That wasn't our deal. You are supposed to be with me. I do not know any of these people that you were talking to, I won't be safe with them. They will not care about me. I would rather take our chances in the human world than go to Blackadder, Kevin told me. I know, baby, but I need you to be safe. You will be safe and protected there. It is where I grew up. It may be okay, the people searching for us were really after Graham and Regan. I may just get a slap on the wrist, or I might really be punished, but either way, I made a deal. I trust Brandon, and I know that he will take care of you. You are about to meet your uncle Leander. He is my little brother, and he is the Gamma there. The pack is strong, your father will not be able to get to you there. We will be safe living there. I promise you, you are my son, and I would do anything to protect you, I told him, and we sat in silence as I drive the last few miles in. I could see black SUVs a few miles behind me, and they are flying my way. I called Leander back and said, I am here, but someone is coming this way very quickly. Please let us in, I do not want him to find us here. I should have known that he would check here first after I escaped. We are already at the gate, Cheryl, come on in, and park along the wall, we will protect you, Leander said. I can see the gate opening for me, as I pull up. I barely slowed down as I drove in and then turned to park right along the wall, about 50 feet up where they wouldn't be able to see me. My heart is racing so fast, and I cannot catch my breath. How did Blake find me so fast? He would have had to drive straight here. Is there a second tracker on the SUV? I am white-knuckling the steering wheel as I look into my rearview mirror at Leander, Brandon, and Justin all at the gate. I am sick with worry, as I wonder if I have brought war straight to Blackadder's gate. They certainly won't be letting me stay, if I have. Chapter 106 Blake's POV. I was hoping that Cheryl had come to my office to talk about what I brought up to her last night, but she didn't. I knew she was out there, I deliberately made her wait. I am trying to keep control over her, and Graham told me that any day she would fall in line. I knew that seeing me smiling at Kara was going to get her angry and jealous. I wanted her to react, to demand that Kara leave my office and stay away from me, but she didn't. It was like she didn't care at all what I did. I am at my wit's end with what to do. My stomach has been in knots all morning long. My wolf, Kona, is very anxious, and he keeps whining in my head. I wish I knew what the problem was with her this morning, but I am sure it is going to work itself out. I know that she was mad because I am allowing Kara to go with her. I am tired of Kara too. She is getting clingy and thinking this is a relationship, and it isn't. I am still kicking myself for going to Kara's room last night. But Graham has told me to stay with the plan. He said she would have to cave soon. That once she learned her lesson, and sent Kevin away, everything would go back to normal. I know that Cheryl is always whining about the pain that she gets from it, but other than her losing weight, she seems fine. Plus, she refuses to sleep with me now. She forced me into doing this. I didn't want to, but Graham said that it is normal for an alpha wolf to have additional lovers. He told me that he had them himself and Cassandra never mentioned any problems to him about it. That our higher S*X drive demanded it. It just isn't the same with them, as it was with Cheryl. I am connected with her because I love her, S*X was better, and our conversations were better. Everything was better with Cheryl than with anyone else. I loved her more before I found out that she had cheated on me, but I still love her. She deserved for me to get back at her for her own infidelity. She started this, and I was going to finish it. Hearing her crying really hurts my heart, but it wasn't my fault that she-wolves were lining up to get into my bed, well, my office to get with me. She should be proud that they wanted a piece of me. I am still a very attractive, desirable man. But I only belonged to her, just my Cheryl. We could have been happy this whole time if she hadn't turned her back on me and slept with another. Nothing would have changed between us if she hadn't slept with Brandon. I had to go to Blackadder, to see what my competition looked like, about 7 years ago. I couldn't stop myself from doing it. I was truly sorry that I went. We were like twins, both of us with brown hair, and brown eyes, the same height and build. That is when I realized that she had never loved me. I was just a willing replacement for the man she loved. She broke my heart by knowing that important information, and from that moment on, I couldn't look at her without my jealousy going into overdrive. Graham had tried to tell me why she picked me, but I refused to listen to him. Imagine my surprise when it was almost like looking in a mirror. I didn't want anyone around her, she was mine, and only mine, but with each passing month I was more furious than the previous. She used me, she probably dreamed that it was Brandon in her arms, instead of me when we had S**X. Graham told me not to tell my ranked wolves what was happening between us. He said that they would act with more respect to Kara and the girls if I didn't, and he was right. I hated what I saw outside my office this morning, but Cheryl needs this wake-up call. She needs to know that if she doesn't stop with Brandon, I could replace her. I won't, because I love her, but I could, I just need her to stop all communication with him. For her to only have me in her heart. But I was well aware that no other woman in this pack could do the things that she could do as Luna. Cheryl cared about her people, even if they failed her as badly as I did. But I need to get Kevin out of here, he needs to go live with his father. After a while, things between me and Cheryl can settle down, and we can go back to where we were before. I saw the hurt in her eyes at my men giving the same respect they gave their Luna, to Kara. I will have to speak to them in tomorrow's meeting about it, as I cannot allow that to continue. Cheryl was angrier this morning than she has ever been. The only time I saw her madder than this morning was the Reagan incident, and the first time I slept with Kara. I forgot she could feel it, and when the door opened and I saw her face, I was glad. She looked like she wanted to murder Kara, and that was good news for me. It meant she still loved me. Which meant that we were going to be able to work things out. I honestly believed that at the time. I didn't want my pack member hurt by Cheryl when she was mad at me, so I protected her. Seeing the pain in Cheryl's eyes from that small act, made me feel like St, but I kept my act up. Graham had said that Cheryl was proud and had to be broken down a little for her to realize the error of her ways. I was glad to see Cheryl jealous in front of the pack house this morning. Maybe this can be worked out, she was right, Kara was not a good person. She used her body to get what she wanted. That was why I used protection each and every time. I didn't want any physical reminders of our time together. But I was ecstatic that Cheryl was so mad, that means she still has feelings for me. I pretended to be angry at how Cheryl spoke to Kara and managed to pry Kara off of me. I can't continue this for long, everything about her is a turn-off. Cheryl smells so good to me, being around her makes me happy. Nothing about Kara makes me happy. She was a means to an end, that is all. I wanted to take the opportunity to remind Cheryl that I still wanted her and that we should talk, very serious about the next step we needed to take. I never expected the tears to be in her eyes. I looked at her, really looked at her, and I can see the toll that all this stress has taken on her. She looks frail now. She was always fit, and trim. She was a machine on the training grounds, and there was a reason that Kara had to be scared of her. But Cheryl really is too thin now. She never shops because she never leaves here. She still has t-shirts from when she first arrived here 15 years ago, and they swallow her now. She is wearing one of our daughter Casey's belts to hold her jeans up. She is now dangerously thin, and I can tell that her health is at risk. She rarely allows me to hold her, she fights me tooth and nail when I try, but when I do I can count all of her ribs with my thumb. I will bend first, I can't wait for her to do it, she is starving to death, and I just can't lose her. I encourage her to eat, but she refuses, and last night when I touched her she literally threw up what little she had eaten for dinner. It has gone too far now, I cannot allow her to starve herself to death. I will tell her everything tonight, and beg for her forgiveness. Kara and the other girls can go to Aaron's pack to live to keep her from the stress of ever having to see them again. I just can't keep this pretense up anymore. Everything Graham told me to do has completely backfired on me. How she knew instantly that he was behind it blew my mind. I did everything to hide the fact that he was, including yelling at her when we would argue. I still to this day do not know how she knew. I refused to listen to her when she launched into complaining, as I was scared that she would see the truth of what she was saying on my face. I wanted to kiss her so badly this morning, but knew that after Kara's big performance out front just now, I knew Cheryl was not going to allow it. Even with Graham standing there, I couldn't stop myself from asking her if she was still willing to talk to me. She wasn't going to do it, I could tell from how stiffly she was sitting, so I kept my pride intact and didn't even ask. Kona was all over the place in my head, whining and clearly agitated. He was turning in circles, and I sent up a prayer to the goddess that they would be safe on their trip. Each one of them could fight very well, even the moms in the back, so I hope it wasn't an impending wreck that I felt. I have been told that Kevin is a very careful driver that doesn't take any risks, so I think that they will be fine, and I pushed his warnings down. They are ready to go, and this morning has not gone at all like I wanted it to, at all. Nothing has, and for a while now. I can see the tears shining in her eyes, and I sighed out loud. I guess I will have to give her time to calm down. I will stop with all of them today though. I will tell the ones that are here that we are done, as soon as Cheryl leaves. I will tell Kara, who will be the most vocal in arguing about it when they return. I will not allow them to be near my family anymore. I was against it from the start, but Graham said that I had to keep firm pressure on Cheryl to get her to break, and then bend to my will. Maybe if I show her how committed to her, she will consider things going back to what they were. I have gone longer than a few weeks without S*X before. After the birth of each of my children, I can do this just fine. I shut the door to allow them to leave, and I didn't push her anymore. I knew that she hates to cry, she feels weak when she does it. I don't want to continue down the path that we are on. Everything that Graham has suggested for me has led me further and further away from where I really wanted to be. I just wanted my mate back. I chose her for a reason. She was smart, beautiful, and strong. She was the perfect choice to be my Luna. She gave me strong pups, even if one wasn't truly mine. That was the only thing that I ever had an issue with her over. Everything else was perfect, and seamless with Cheryl. She gave me input and sat on the arm of my chair in meetings to keep me calm in serious situations. Her logic in tough choices was impeccable, and she was a fair and just leader for the pack. She didn't make rash decisions, and we were such a strong team. She had the respect of my men, not because she was my mate, but because she was their leader. In a nutshell, she was perfect. She was the best decision that I ever made, and the perfect chosen mate. She respected my ranked wolves, and they respected her, and their respect was always hard-won. Except with Kara, they just saw me giving her leeway, and they followed in kind. I do not know what happened to us, or why Cheryl was willing to throw it all away, for no reason. I watched Kevin drive carefully down the driveway and then head up the road toward the highway. Kona is even more agitated, and I knew I needed to let off some steam. I went to my office to start mind-linking my girlfriends one at a time. They each reacted the same way, crying, and begging me to reconsider. They all got things out of it, it wasn't just S*X, and they didn't want to let it go. I let them get away with murder here in the pack to play up the fact that they were important to me when they honestly weren't. I gave them money and let them do what they wanted. It was a bad mistake, one that I am rectifying now. Cheryl never asks for anything, she is content with what she has and doesn't want anything replaced until it no longer works, or serves a purpose. Cheryl will be able to tell the big change here at dinner tonight. I will make this up to her. No matter what, no matter how long it takes, I swear I will repair our bond. The only thing I ask of her is for Kevin to go to Blackadder. Seeing him every day hurts me. That fact that she betrayed me, and yet keeps him at her side, sitting right there at my table as if he belongs there. It hurts my heart, as he is not my pup. He belongs to another, someone that Cheryl has loved for far longer than me. Why she continues to flaunt the fact that I wasn't enough for her, is the reason that I feel the need to hurt her back. She had no idea how watching him on the training field upsets me. Brandon was the same way at his pack. He was a fierce fighter, and few could take him on. He was a machine going through opponent after opponent. Justin was the only man that could take him on, but Brandon and Justin had both beaten me in the sparring event. They made me look bad with how quickly they took me down in both of my sparring matches. The experience was totally humiliating to me. Yes, we were training, but I am a strong alpha. I should have been able to land some heavy blows, and at least show my own strength. In fact, that was the whole reason I went. I wanted the excuse to be able to beat up Brandon for sleeping with my mate. It just happened to drop into my lap hearing about how they were showing new fighting techniques. I already knew that it was important with pack protection anyway, and I wanted to learn more. But what I really wanted deep down in my heart, was to get to see Brandon, my competition. It was a wake-up call when I was beaten, and so easily. I was in just as good a shape as them, but they were obviously better than me at fighting, and it had stung my pride. They were right, we did need to learn that type of defense, and I got Travis fired up about going there, and learning. He was doing pretty well before he forgot himself and hit on Brandon's mate. That was a huge mistake and caused a lot of problems. Even with my warning to him, Travis was enamored the moment he saw Raven. She was just as beautiful as Reagan had been, but she was a nice person on top of it. When Travis saw how skilled she was as a fighter, she suddenly became his dream woman. I have to admit, that she was damned impressive. He had a flashback to that video when Reagan was trying to impersonate Raven. He felt she was the same as Reagan, as they were twins, and that she would be flattered by his advances. He thought wrong. She taught him a lesson that day, and he was no longer allowed at Blackadder to train. He was angry with Raven, Brandon, and Justin over the whole thing, because he got taught a lesson by a woman. He felt she overreacted at his invitation to sleep with him. He felt a simple, "no thank you" would have sufficed. Justin was so pissed off at what he had said that he wanted to kill Travis. They had to hold both Justin and Brandon back too when he found out about it, and they demanded that he left Blackadder right then. It was Travis' own fault. You just cannot disrespect Luna at her own pack. It was an unforgivable act. It suddenly hit me hard and I had to sink down into my chair. That was what I have been allowing here. It was an unexpected punch to the gut. I am so screwed. I permitted this whole thing to happen. I forced my mate to endure complete humiliation in her own pack. I accused her of cheating, and the whole pack knew it. I shamed her and Kevin over and over again in my anger over her actions. I empowered other women to rub it in her face that she had been replaced. I was supposed to be her biggest supporter and protector, and I completely failed her. No matter what she had done, it should have just been between us. I allowed my jealousy over her cheating to completely poison my love for her. I should have prevented that from happening. I should never have allowed her to suffer like this. She had changed because of my callous actions. I was the one who forced her to accept this. The pack all felt that I was the one who had been cheated on and supported me in my actions this whole time. I never wanted that to happen. I just wanted her to admit her mistake, ask for forgiveness, and then we can go back to how we were. But she refused to do it. She would not admit that she met Brandon and gave birth to his child. That was on her, not me, I had told myself as the guilt over my own terrible actions comes over me like a wave. Goddess, what am I going to do? Could I forgive Cheryl if she had brought numerous men in front of me? Had them sitting next to her at the table right in front of me? Rubbing my nose in what she was doing, and bragging about it. I already knew I wouldn't. I would have killed them on the spot for having the nerve to touch her. She is mine, she cannot belong to anyone else. The knowledge that if our roles were reversed, the actions would have never been allowed hits me hard too. I deliberately shamed her, over and over again, and now I expected her to just let it go, and come back to me. I need to show her I realize that I was wrong. I will tell her when she gets back that I am done with all the girls, and I will even allow Kevin to stay here too. I won't allow him to be bullied anymore. I will protect both him and his mother, and I will straighten out the pack too. I will make sure the moment they come back that they know that things are going to change for the better around here. I sit there thinking of what I can do to show her how sorry I am, and my first few ideas fall short. She doesn't shop for herself the clothes, jewelry, or purses, will not be appreciated. That is something that the girlfriends would want because they are materialistic, but not Cheryl. I know that she only asked for the money because Kevin needs a whole new wardrobe. All of his pants are too short, and he can only wear shorts now. He needs new pants, shirts, shorts, shoes, well, pretty much everything. He has outgrown all his clothes. He gets nothing because I just could not bring myself to take care of another man's child. I am an alpha, and a proud one. I just couldn't act like it was okay for him to be here when it wasn't, so I will start there. He is important to her, so he will be important to me from now on too. As soon as she comes back, I will make sure that she knows that she is my number one priority. That Kevin is welcome here too. If she didn't get him enough clothes today, we will go out together tomorrow, and get him everything that he needs. I will make this right for them both, no matter what. Chapter 107 Blake's POV. I smile as I leaned back in my chair. I knew that they should be happy when they return. Now that Kevin's needs are now taken care of, Cheryl will be happy. She will probably be willing to talk to me, despite what she had implied earlier when she pointed out the difference between what I gave her, and what I gave Kara. I will then take the opportunity to let her know why I did what I did, and what I will do for both her and Kevin in the future. I will take them both to the mall, and let Kevin get everything that his brothers and sister already have. I will treat all of them the same from now on, and no longer be playing favorites. I will make sure that no one picks on him again. I will let my anger and frustration go, and we can move forward again as a united family. I called the kitchen and asked for them to make Cheryl's favorite meal for our table. The fact that the new kitchen head doesn't know what that is, upsets me. I wanted to growl at her in anger, but I can't, because I don't know the answer to it either, and she was patiently waiting on the other end of the line for me to tell her. That made me even angrier, as she had been in charge for over 5 years now. How could she not know? I snapped at her to check with her predecessor and hung up on her. I am pretty angry now, but more at myself than at the new kitchen head. She did what everyone else did, piled on to take my side, and not Cheryl's. The same way you don't know her favorite meal either, stupid, I heard Kona link me. He is even more agitated now than he was earlier, and angry on top of it. There was a time when I knew everything about her, everything. I made her happy with little things, like having her favorite flowers planted in front of the pack house. That made her happy, and if they were blooming now, I would go out and cut some of them for her, have them arranged in a vase, and taken up our room for her. That would make her happy, the fact that I remembered what she liked. I will fix this, Kona, she still cares for me, I can tell. I can make her forgive me. I will let this thing with Kevin go, and we can move forward again. I linked him back. He huffs at me and doesn't respond, just fading back away from me. When it comes to Kevin, he is always angry with me. I was thinking of a grand gesture for her when I got a link from Kara. There is a problem with the SUV. Before she can tell me exactly where they were, the link is suddenly broken, and I can't reach her again. I am in a panic. I don't even know if Cheryl is safe. Are they being attacked? Did the council find her? Why isn't Cheryl linking me? I immediately contact my men and tell them to get several vehicles ready to go, and that we need to leave in the next 4 minutes to go find them. I cannot live with myself if they were in a wreck and something is wrong with Cheryl. I knew something was wrong. I should have gone with them. I wasn't worried about Kara, I was breaking it off with Kara anyway, and I was not concerned for her at all. But I have to find them right now, and I went to grab the gun out of my locked desk drawer in case they are involved in an altercation. I am desperate to go and save them, and I am shocked to see that my gun was gone. Goddess, I suddenly have a really bad feeling that this is not going to end well at all. I ran out the front door of the pack house and we are pouring out of the pack quickly to go find them. The tracker beacon is strong and they are not that far away from here. I am really glad for the paved roads in my pack now, as we're moving quickly to get to the highway. My heart is in my throat and I know that whatever has happened here, will be bad when we get there. I saw Graham running up to the pack house from his own SUV when I got into my truck, and I knew he was coming with us. He looked bad, but I do not have time to speak to him, I need to get there right now, and Garrett and Mark rode with me. No one spoke and as soon as we got over a ridge, I see Billy, Cheryl's mom, standing there and in shock. I slid to a stop 30 feet from her and was worried that the SUV was in the ditch. If Kevin had wrecked the SUV and hurt his mom, I am going to kill him was my only thought as I threw my door open and ran to Billy to look down into the ditch. I was shocked too and was really not prepared for what I saw. 3 bodies stared back up at me from the ditch and the SUV was gone. I fell to my knees as the pain of what had happened rushed through me. Cheryl and Kevin were gone. I pushed them so far that they left. I have no idea where they were going. I watched as Graham slid down the hill to his mate and cradled her in his arms. He howled out his pain at his loss, and I chimed in with mine too. My heart was heavy, and the pain was incredible. I was going to fix this, why didn't she give me the chance to do it? Right, this is her fault too. I tried to warn you, and you ignored me. You listened to Graham over and over again as he made you break your mate. Did it work? She is gone, and we have no idea where. She never does anything without a plan. She is in the wind and we will never get her back now. You and your pack are going to soon be sorry for what happened. I tried to warn you, Kona told me, and I have to hold my body up with my arms as I went to collapse. He is right, she will never know how sorry I am. I have to get her back. I sent my men in 2 of the SUVs, 1 in each direction, to go look for her. They pulled up the tag number for the vehicle they were in, and they both took off. No one knew where she was going. If she is smart, and I know that she is, she would go live in the human world. We truly will never see her again. She will be forever lost to us and I feel physically ill over this. I truly never felt like she would leave us, never. That thought had never even entered my mind. I really thought that she would finally give in, and do what I wanted her to. Why didn't she? She didn't have to do it like this. My men are bringing the bodies up the slope with difficulty, and Billy is starting to shake from the shock of seeing it. Silas was not with us, and frankly, I do not have time to coddle her. Which way did she go, Billy? I asked her, and she pointed back toward Black Moon. I know she isn't going home, she is probably going to the city. She is smart, and I know that there is no real chance of us finding her, but I need to try. I mind-linked 2 more SUVs with warriors to go to the city to find her. They were on the road 2 minutes later. Graham would not let Cassandra go, and it took him a while to get her up the slope. His tears were real, and suddenly I wanted to kill him. He caused this whole thing. This is his fault, and Cheryl always told me that. She insisted that this was his payback for the sentence that we gave Reagan, and right now in my heart, I know she was right. We destroyed Reagan's life, so he destroyed ours. That spiteful man! How dare he do this to us? Cheryl liked Cassandra, she did. They spent a lot of time together, and I knew exactly why she had done it. He made Cheryl lose her mate, so she took his. My mate is so smart. With this information, more pieces are coming to me now. That I should have thought about when he first started to approach me and lay what I now knew to be his groundwork for tearing us apart. How could she have cheated on me, if the only person who left the pack was Graham himself for the first 3 months? That was just to go to the bank, or real estate office. I let all he did for me and the pack allow me to eventually forget that he could not be trusted at all. Eventually, it was Graham and Cassandra who got to leave to go visit Reagan after I banished her after what she did. Cheryl never left the pack. She was always terrified that the council was going to find her, so she never left the pack, for anything. She ordered online and had the delivery picked up at the gate. So if she never left, and no one trespassed, there was really no way for her to have cheated on me. An eerie calm has washed over me, and I know now, that Graham is going to be dying by my hands. Graham has me so jealous of anyone being near my mate, that I forgot reason, and just let anger burn through me. What have I done? I punished the only person who truly loved me the most. Who selflessly gave to me, our children, and the pack, and all I gave her in return was a lot of pain. I wanted to rip Graham apart, but I will not tip my hand. I will get him back to the pack, and I will take care of it myself. I cannot allow him to know that I know exactly why we are here right now. We did this, pushed Cheryl to the breaking point, and I am going to deal with him. I have to say that his pain is making me feel better. He finally got to realize that he couldn't escape the payback he deserved, and I was proud that it was my mate who let him know it. She did this, and she is not a hateful person. I know it hurt her to carry it out, and that she probably felt back for the warrior, and Cassandra, but I know without a shadow of a doubt that she didn't mind taking Kara out. No wonder she didn't want her coming, she had made plans, and I had upset them, and yet she flawlessly carried it out. She and Kevin were safe from Black Moon now, and my heart is broken. My son, my own flesh and blood. I have lost him. I cannot apologize and make it up to him anymore. My heart feels like it's squeezing in pain from this. How badly did I hurt Cheryl and Kevin that this was the only option that they felt they had? My men had loaded Kara and the warrior into the back of my truck, but Graham had refused to let Cassandra go. I refused to feel bad for him, and I knew exactly why she did it this way. He was going to have to live with the pain of losing his mate, because of his own actions. Graham had torn us apart with his accusations and rumors. He fabricated lies and used innuendo to keep my anger up. Graham ran around and spread gossip to the other pack members, so it ran rampant throughout the pack. He wanted her broken down, not because she cheated, but because we managed to hurt his daughter, and he wanted retribution for it. He wanted to punish us, for coming up with such a humiliating punishment for Regan. I figured if she wanted to sleep around so bad, I would help her, and my cousin too. Erin had been looking for a strong Werewolf, and Regan's actions showed us all that she was still up to her old tricks here too. She could not be allowed to stay here, after that. I managed to stand, with Garrett's help, and he said, "I am sorry about Kara, Blake." His thinking that she was the reason that I was upset, not the fact that my mate and son were gone, upset me. My fury is immediate and caused me to allow some of my aura out. I realized that my men that were out looking for Cheryl and Kevin were on a manhunt to catch, and probably kill them, instead of a search and retrieval to bring them back safely. Let all of my men know that I want my son, Kevin, and mate Cheryl back, unharmed. If there is one scratch on either of them, the warrior that causes it will be dealt with personally by me, I told him. His stunned face told me that things had been allowed to go way too far at Black Moon. That they thought Cheryl has no value, and they were searching for her to atone for killing 3 pack members. I did not want Graham to know that I was onto him yet, so I headed back to my truck after I told Garrett to make sure that my mate and son were unharmed. I told Garrett to relay to the other ranked wolves that Graham no longer had any pull, or authority, at Black Moon. I had plans for Graham, and none of them were going to be good for him. He had forgotten who I was and that the penalties that I dole out, would be quick, and harsh. I guess after 7 years of letting him live inside my brain rent-free, he really thought he was safe now. He is probably quite confident that I would be mad at losing Kara, and would want Cheryl, and Kevin, to be punished. He would be wrong on all counts. It won't be Cheryl who gets punished for this. I motioned for Garrett to drive as I just couldn't right now, I am completely drained. Billy got into the back seat of my truck, as I am sure she didn't want to be sitting next to Graham holding Cassandra in his lap. That was a little too creepy for me too. Billy was still in shock, over what happened. I bet Cheryl was too, she was pushed way too far. She only did this to protect Kevin, from his own father. Her words flashed through my mind of her telling me that one day I would be sick about all I put him through keep running on repeat in my mind. I didn't want to speak in front of Billy, as I didn't want any of what I was about to say to get to anyone that I didn't want to hear it. I just started mind-linking my ranked wolves what had happened, and how I was tricked. That way they know what is going on, so they can move forward accordingly. I am suddenly exhausted and do not know what I am going to do. My mate, the one who keeps me calm, is gone. This is going to be a problem. Cheryl is smart enough to have made strong plans. Plans that I would have to really look into to find out what surprises will be coming my way. I should not have been surprised that this happened. She told me in 1,000 different ways that I was wrong, that she never cheated. She told me that she would not accept me after cheating, and for continuing to believe Graham over her. Graham wanted us to get here, and I can guarantee him now, that he will be sorry for it. He knew her bottom line was cheating, that there was no coming back from it, and yet he kept encouraging me to do it. Pointing out all the she-wolves that made it no secret that they were happy to help me out, in any way possible. Graham told me that in doing this, Cheryl would have to react in jealousy and claim me again. By doing what he had said, put the final nail in my own coffin. I laid my head back on the headrest. My life is completely FD right now. The ST has hit the fan, and it is everywhere. She could really tear my pack apart. Is she mad enough at me and Graham to have the courage to go to the council to turn herself in exchange for protection for Kevin? I think she is. That means that we might be getting visitors, and soon. I have to protect my pack. I wish I could claim ignorance that I didn't know that they were wanted, but the fact is, I did. There is no way for me to dodge this. None of us have any deniability in this. We get a bolo on the first of every month in our email, even 15 years later, looking for the 6 of them. I get it, and all of my ranked wolves get the same email. We knew, and we have hidden them for 15 years at this point. We have no leg to stand on, and this could cause me to lose my pack. I have never thought of this as a possibility, and I am worried now. I have to make plans. I know she has only been in the wind for 30 minutes, but as angry as she clearly is, she could be willing to do anything. I have made plans too. There is no way that Graham will be escaping punishment from me. Yet, he is upset at losing his mate, I am too, and he caused it with his own actions, and pushing me. Always egging me on to do what he said, so he can help me fix my relationship. Goddess, I was so stupid. But from now on I won't be. My men are out looking for her, she has nowhere to go. I told my men to check the local hotels and motels because they will need a place to stay, but I know they are already gone. She will drive for 8 hours straight to get away from me if she has to. Her only thought is to get Kevin to safety. The fact that I bullied and hurt my own child is killing me. I love my pups, I tried to give them everything, and did, for 3 out of 4 of them. Casey indeed had Cheryl's coloring too, and I never doubted her for one moment. It was only Kevin, who Graham had purposely led me to believe wasn't mine. I bet Graham was so happy to see what he led me to do. I am disgusted with my own behavior. Why was I so angry and possessive that I lost my control like this? I am smart, why did I not sit down and think? Garrett pulled up at the pack house and I headed up to the apartment. The kids are still gone, and just cannot stay in here, all alone. My heart is weighed down and I am not myself. I head down to my office and have to put my head in my hands. I truly do not know what I am going to do now. I cannot bounce back from this, not without her. Not at least being able to sleep in the same bed as Cheryl is going to come with some real issues for the pack. Kona wants blood, and I know he wants to rip Graham's head off. But I have better plans for both him and Regan. Graham will have to pay for his treachery, and I am glad to take everything that he values away from him, just like he did to me. His home, his daughter, and his money, which he values more than anything else. I could leave him alone, and let him live in his home, but I want him to know I know what he did. I want him to realize that the cost of it is higher than he ever expected. I wanted him to know that he would live out his life in one of my cells until I wanted him dead. I want him to not have fancy clothes, a fancy car, and his fancy home to live in anymore. I wanted him to suffer with being treated badly, every single day until I get my Cheryl back. But he will still be imprisoned in that cell until the day she fully forgives me, which I am positive will be never. I am sure of it, but just having her here with me, and being able to get my son back, will be enough for me. I am hoping to sweeten the pot by telling her if and when she is willing to return that I will give her Graham, for her to be able to kill him herself as her reward for coming back to me. I know that I cannot survive without her. I was already on sinking ground with all the ideas that Graham had come up with to break her. Now it is my turn, I will be coming up with ideas to break him now too. I know how to get it done. Graham forgot to factor in how much vengeance I like to dole out, and he really shouldn't have. He saw what happened to Sierra, and he saw what happened to his own daughter, by my own hand. What makes him think that he will be getting a pass on what he has done? There will be no pass, and there will be no peace, for anyone, until my Cheryl and my son Kevin. Or if you want to pay for more such audiobooks, you can send us a request in a private Facebook group, or join us on WhatsApp, a link is given in the video description. The rest of the audiobooks will be uploaded in the next episode. Join us on Patreon to listen to more unlimited audiobooks.